stands against the most advanced army on the planet and will master time to become the ultimate weapon. Time Shift. This October. Rated M for mature.
I like how both of them are dressed.
Okay, Minnie. It's all yours.
Both are green. It's red. Power couple.
Minnie just owned your leaf. Don't take it personal.
Are you giving it back? You give it back? No.
That's why you guys went extinct in the first place. You wouldn't fight for yourselves.
That is the most retarded fact I've ever heard.
Leo.
It's Leo.
It looks like one of those toys I used to have when I was a kid, except, well, this one's moving on its own, I can see now.
Yeah, it's got like the camera and it
Sensors?
feels emotions.
It's got these sensors like
It feels emotions.
Yeah, it does.
Like what? Like, I'm
It's
sure.
love is real, but
Dude,
it
its
is
emotion
not.
is.
No,
is
when
a
you
super
grab it
good
by
one.
the tail.
By the
No,
tail.
Grab it by the tail.
By the tail?
Yeah.
No, come on! Dude, that's really childish, you know that? That's not cool.
Give it!
Give it back, dude, come on!
Ryan.
Struggle, wiggle.
Okay, that's
Come
enough.
on,
Okay,
wiggle.
he's
Fight
had
for
enough.
your existence.
He hasn't.
Ryan.
He had enough. No, that's not cool, man. No, come on, dude. Seriously, that's childish, man.
Why do you do that?
Because it's not real. It's a fucking robot.
Now you hurt
Fine.
Minnie's feelings. I hope you're happy. You hurt Minnie's feelings.
Hey, I don't wanna go to work today. I wanna stay home and play all my video games on the One Up Show. You know you'll be a star on the One Up Show. You already are. Every day, this life's a holiday. One up, 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 one up on the One Up Show. One up, 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 one up on the One Up Show.
I have to admit, when I first saw Wii Fit at E3, I was like, seriously? They're coming out with a peripheral that takes my body mass index? What?
I was excited about the fitness aspect from E3, but I almost feel like Wii Fit is kind of a misnomer because the exercises, I would say I didn't have that much fun doing, and I didn't feel like I was actually exercising, or I was wondering why I didn't just kind of buy a yoga DVD or something.
I'm not too into the whole yoga thing, and when I first saw Wii Fit, I wasn't into it either. I was just like, Americans aren't gonna get this unless call it Wii Fat or something. I don't know. It's like, I wasn't into it at all, but I was actually pretty surprised how much fun a lot of the mini games are, like the hula hoop and the skiing. The skiing's like my favorite.
Well, you said you didn't really enjoy the fitness, or you didn't see yourself using those any more than you'd use like a yoga tape. But you know, I've tried yoga tapes and even yoga classes, and they're all just so boring. And this actually, like, I was surprised when we were doing it. Like, I felt the burn. Like, because it has you balance yourself in such a way that you have to keep it precise and keep yourself, like, centered and breathing, and it's tracking everything in such a way that, like, I can totally see myself doing that. Like, if I had one, I can see myself doing that, like, once a day and seeing if I get better. It tracks everything for me, You know, it's very simple.
There were some that were really hard. Like you had to like stand on one leg, and you know, you have to keep that red dot like centered, and I'd just be starting to fall over to the left, and you try to pull back the right.
Yeah, I can see myself doing this more than I've ever done a tape, because with a tape, I could always be like, they're going too fast. Or,
Oh, well,
I'm gonna sit
except here, that there is the big caveat of, well, with a tape you can just slack off. Because with the balance board, you can definitely slack off too. It's very easy
but
to
like a
fool
tape,
the
you're
balance
only
board.
cheating yourself.
I guess I just think that somebody who buys it purely for fitness will actually still find that they get a better workout doing the mini games than doing the exercise. And since that's the initial experience, and you have kind of like brain age, you have a daily thing where you're supposed to stamp every day that you do it. It tracks your
With
weight.
a little baby foot.
It tracks your weight. It tracks your BMI, which hopefully get better as time goes by.
And you really like work out a sweat, like the jogging game where you take the moat and you put it in your back pocket and you just kind of like run with it. I mean,
Yeah, well, and especially when you get into the competitive mode and you're trying to beat someone else's score, that's when you start, you know, breaking out the headbands.
One of the warnings it gives us is no levitation, or I think it's indicating don't jump off the board. And at one point in your excitement, you actually did jump off the board.
Whether it's a ski jump or whether you're jumping to avoid that obstacle on
chompy monster.
the tightrope, you're imitating the jumping motion, and so it is hard to maintain contact with the board, but the board knows. If your toe even lifts a little bit, even if one toe lifts off.
One of the things I was really excited about, and I was wondering like why they didn't show anything like that at E3, was you look at this and you think, oh, that'd be great for like an alpine skiing game, or it'd be great for even better skateboard game. I'd love to see TNC's Surf Shop make a comeback, you know, like a surfing game, a skating game, you know, any of these, snowboarding. But the thing
A
is
rhythmic
with that,
gymnastics game.
California.
beautiful California games. But with those, I can't imagine simulating skateboard tricks or snowboard tricks on this without asking the person to jump. So who knows, like maybe it is hardy enough, maybe it can handle us jumping up and down and popping sweet ollies. But if it can't, if we're always going to have to get up on tippy toes, it's like, I don't know.
And it is a scale. It is effectively the same as a bathroom scale. So I'm sure if you jumped repeatedly on your bathroom scale, it would break too. But I'm sure a DDR game will come out and we'll use this. But people
And this one
will,
has a little dance game.
And
Jason was super good at it.
I don't know about good, but
There's no danger of you rocking out because you're so into the music, because this game has that. We make hundreds of millions of dollars,
Casio demo
but we
music.
can't shell out
It's
$10,000
awful.
for a licensed hit from 1973 or something. I mean, I would even take like a Carpenter's tune or something over what
Linda
they.
Ronstadt, anything, please.
At least that, then I could, you know, dance. It'll take another game.
Yeah, it'll take like
using the technology to have the real. So, you know, just in case you saw that dancing minigame and thought, oh, maybe they have some cool songs and it's going to be just like DDR.
No.
looking at the wrong.
DDR has nothing to fear from the Wii Fit dancing minigame. That is true. All things considered, I mean, right now I'm feeling a little disappointed that, as far as I know, there's no plans to bring this to the U.S.
Really? I thought they were going to.
There's no date.
I thought they were going to get like a bigger board too or something.
Oh no.
Thought,
America
yeah.
is going
Oh,
to get
shit.
a bigger board than this?
Yeah.
It'll be just twice the size of this. Well, it's got to be bigger
And
for
it's
the Wii
heavy.
Fat.
I know.
The Wii Fat America.
It's not because they're fat. Americans have bigger feet, I think.
Bigger bones.
We're
That's
bigger
the story.
everywhere.
That's-
Yeah.
Right.
We are bigger everywhere. I don't know what that means.
Rated M for mature.
So, Matt, you saw God of War PSP?
Chains of Olympus. Yeah, looks good.
Yeah, so tell me about your visit. Like, I mean, it's been a while since we've seen this game. I mean, like, they've had, like, that short little demo that they've, like, released to people. Like, if we saw it played at E3, and then we could, they gave it away, right?
They're doing this thing where they get very good at kind of parceling out the little details. So you got, your first taste of it at the Sony Gamers Day, and then you got to play it at E3, and it was basically the same section with, like, an extra couple seconds, and then you got, whatever, they had the demo that has, like, the first magic in the game, and a few little details here and there, like they showed a parry since then, and then this is kind of like the next step where we saw new magic and a whole bunch more of the game. We got to play through it, got to see how like the platforming and the puzzle solving and all that works.
Have you obviously you saw new stuff, you saw new levels, you saw new enemies, but like what, like since you've seen it last, what were like the big kind of things that you noticed off the bat?
It gives me the impression it's gonna feel more like God of War 1 than God of War 2. As in, like, not quite as much of a, over-the-top combat game. Like, it's gonna have its combat, but it's not gonna be like you're mixing combat with your magics and you're doing crazy stuff like that. It's more a little bit maybe slower paced. I'm not really sure if that's the right term.
Do you think that's because of the PSP, the limiting of the buttons and the controller?
A little bit maybe, because like when you're gonna evade, you have to hold down both triggers before you can evade. So you have to think about it for a split second, and that plays into it. And I think just. It's a little bit with maybe playing it on the PSP itself. They don't want to be quite as over the top, but it's still like more over the top than anything else I've seen on PSP. So like I don't really want to say that, and like people are gonna say like, oh, it's like a criticism of the game, but it's really not. It's really just like it feels right, like what you want to adapt that series to this platform.
What we showed you guys today was first and foremost the new stuff, Cave of Eos. Cave of Eos is part of the first chapter of the game, where you're gonna meet Eos, the goddess of dawn, sister to Helios. It's also the place where you're gonna gain your second magic. We've already showed you the first one with the Efreet. This one is the Light of Dawn. It's a projectile magic that you'll get, and you'll also have the ability at that spot to obtain the parry, the magic parry, the range parry, basically.
So how much is the range parry going to come in? Because for me personally, my favorite fight in God of War 2 was the boss fight where all you did was range parry. So like how much is that going to come up in the gameplay? What are you going to use it for?
Actually, that pretty much came from. We're pretty much fans of the same combat. I think the second sister in God of War and in God of War 2, and actually Zeus's combat too had that awesome balance actually with the melee attack and the range, and having that repel, that magic repel, really helped out and really added a dimension to those combats that we wanted to have.
The idea of 333 megahertz versus 222. Tell me kind of how that came about and what it means to the game in practical terms and what players should expect from that.
Well, it really came about from us begging on our knees for it.
I remember reading one of the guys, it might have been Didier, mentioning that before it ever came up, it was like a thing for this game.
Yeah, we had 222, and we went, look what we could do on 222, but we found this 333 mode. We can overclock the processor. It's all supported. Everything's nice. It doesn't break down the PSP at all. And we can push it with this much more. We added this much more, and this is what the game could be. And we just kept asking, actually crying, begging on knees, do whatever it takes to try to get it. And we're more than thankful that they actually unlocked it.
We dug through one of their programming directors' archives, and he dug up this disc from April, back when it ran at 222. And then we got the current build, which was from November at the time, because we went to see it a few weeks ago. And we compared them. It was the same section, the same level. It was about a 10-minute segment, and we looked at it, and it's just it's so much different. They didn't even have shadows, and now they have perfect shadows, way better than you see in any other game. Light source is affecting the shadows and everything, and then there's all these particle effects and the way the lighting looks and everything. I mean, you can see it in the video, but it's so much different.
Well, it's more, right? You're able to do more. You're able to have that one extra enemy that makes that encounter so perfect, or you're able to have 20 to 200 more particles, in the blood effect, because it makes it that much better. You're able to have that extra screen effect because you get that much more out of it. And so if you can just get that little bit more, and you get that here and there all over the place, it makes it that much more of an experience.
When God of War PSP was initially announced on the instruction manual, it said 2007. What happened there?
What happened there? What happened there was ambition. We were looking at it and we're like, well, we could finish it and take some stuff out, or we could actually do what's right and give the players what they want. And I'm always a bigger fan, and I think we're all bigger fans of doing the right game than a game at the right time. Our game was way bigger than what the time did allow. So what the extra time allowed us to do was to keep things that normally would have thrown away. And I think that every developer goes through that. And when you do get the liberty to get that extra time and to stay true to actually the franchise, you grab it and you just make sure that you do the right thing.
The game looks really, Ready at Dawn looks like they're doing a really good job. But the big thing since we saw the game last is that Corey Barlog is no longer there.
Right.
So, are you less confident about the game now? What was kind of I'm sure you asked him about that.
For the bigger part of the development of Chains of Olympus, Corey was hard at work actually finishing God of War 2, which was, a huge task on its own. But after Corey left, of course, I'm sure that it's you're losing one person, whoever it is, is always you're always going to lose a little bit, of the input that you get into a game. But at the same time, it didn't change much of the way we were working. As far as I think the work on this game, it was pretty much done. He did go back and forth with us actually on a bunch of things, and we still have a bunch of guys over there that we talk to on a regular basis at this point.
And then I just wanted to touch on the combat in this game a little bit, just to get a slight better sense of it. Like, of the combos in the game, what percentage would you say are new versus old that we've seen before?
It's mixed, actually. We wanted to make sure that this game takes place before God of War 1, and so there's moves that we borrowed from God of War 1 and 2, and sometimes it's like continuity-wise, well, maybe he shouldn't have that move, but as we evaluated other moves, we're like, that move was just perfect in God of War 2, and people, they'll give it to us. Let's just put it in there because it feels right and it serves the right purpose. And so there's new moves too. We've got a new weapon, so we're not supposed to say what it is.
Right. Do you think this game could work as a PS2 port later on?
Yeah, I think regardless of the platform, this game's going to work. Again, yeah, absolutely. I have no doubt that this game as a full-blown PS2 game is going to be as good as the other ones.
Would that be something you're interested in making?
It's always something that, be fun to see. I think it'll be all dependent actually on what Sony wants to do with it. And I think that, for the fans out there who are actually hopefully all going to, go and play it on PSP, for the ones that don't, I think it'd be a great thing to put it on PS2.
So does Chains of Olympus have the chance to be like the best PSP game out there?
I think so. I don't know. I'm a huge God of War fan, so obviously I'm a little biased.
Like 13 on your scale right now, for sure.
But as far as technology, it's up there, and as far as ambition, it's definitely up there. So,
do you think it's enough to convince people to go buy a PSP if they haven't bought one yet?
Honestly, I have yet to buy one because I've always played it around the office with other games whenever I need it. I'm buying one for it.
Cool.
So.
Yes. What's that? No. Oh, you're so funny.
What the fuck are you doing, dude?
We fit.
Oh. I guess now that you're all Richard Simmons, you probably don't care that much about Street Fighter 4, huh?
I care. I'm training my mind, my body, and my soul, and I suggest you do the same, my friend.
Huh? For Street Fighter 4?
Yes.
This is helping you with Street Fighter 4.
Exactly. Friend, I suggest you do the same.
Why?
Because you're gonna lose.
Watch, this is how much your training is helping you.
What the fuck, Shu? What's that all about?
You guys.
Yeah, you look ready. Alright. Well, come check with me in a couple of weeks and we might have more information for you.
Well, I'm gonna be ready. I've been training. See all this? This is all one.
Whatever.
Oh, you laugh now, but you're gonna get your ass kicked, Shu.
Yeah, right.
I'll be ready.
It's freezing out here.
We could have done this at a desk.
Yeah.
Burnout reminds me how much fun it is just to mess around with cars and go driving and screw around. That's kind of what's great about the game, actually.
Wreck cars.
It's like it still feels entirely like Burnout.
I argue that the progression. I think because when you get set, when you first get the game, you're let loose in the entire Paradise City, which is huge. It's not just a city; it's like a city outlying areas, countryside.
Yeah.
And you have free access to everything, including 120 events from the get-go.
Yeah.
And there's no rules.
You
of
do
what you have to do.
Complaints about the game I want to get out of the way was like starting off I was kind of lost, you know, like you don't understand that how the events are set up, you know, you don't understand how open it is.
Well,
so I'm just driving around like, how do I get started?
You kind of expect a tutorial.
Lead me through this.
Right, you expect a tutorial and it doesn't have one. Instead you get the DJ.
You get DJ Awesometivity.
At least you hear DJ Tom Goes like, oh, I want to turn him off.
I've been wondering what you folks use to find your way around Paradise City. Me? I only ever use the compass, but I know some guys who wouldn't be able to get to the end of the street without using their mini-map. You know, work out what's best for you and just stick with it.
But then, the stuff he tells you is actually useful, and that is the tutorial. Like slowly through the course of the game, he gives you advice, he gives you helpful hints. If you lose an event, he'll give you like some, you know.
Yeah, it's a really good like sense of discovery.
Right, but I think the fact that you're not forced to do anything is brilliant because a lot of people, in the same way in GTA, like you just want to mess around. It's a sandbox, and you know it's a complete success because there's no consequences for crashing. So if you just want to drive around the city, exploring things, crashing into people, crashing into buildings, there's no consequences. There's no punishments.
You're always gonna hit the gas and go. You're gonna see like, you know, the indicators for the shortcuts, you know, the yellow barriers, blast through them, hit some billboards up in the air.
Well, exactly.
You know,
It is gonna take you a long time to learn. It encourages a lot of like exploring and looking for shortcuts. But there are instances where if you mess up, if you take one wrong turn, especially out like in the hills and the boonies, if you take one wrong turn, you're done.
Outside of the events, there's like a metagame for you to explore, and there's always a reason to like make you go back and just mess around.
And that's even better. Like it's great single player, but it's even better when you have multiple people playing in the online server because it just immediately picks up where you are in your single player game. All the things you've done are still there, and then you can set up these races and these challenges within a group, and it's the natural evolution of Burnout, I think.
Yeah, and what's cool about the online is that like kind of the open world nature of that, where like every street you're like, oh, I just got the fastest route on this street, or like I just had the longest drift. Now the other 3 guys in my room, or however many, try to beat that. You know, it's just like this constant ongoing thing in between races, because you can do races whenever you want.
And it keeps all the rivalries alive. So even like you come back later and someone takes you out, you remember, oh, like you know they revenged you, and yeah, I think online's gonna be huge for this game. Now with Xbox through the Xbox Live Vision camera or PS through any USB camera, you can take your picture and it's on your license, but also when you're racing against people online, if you take them out, it takes a picture of you so you can like, or take a picture of them, or it goes both ways, right? You send each other your pictures.
I think the winner gets plastered on the top.
Yeah, the winner, everyone gets to see his picture. So, I mean, you can always like flip people off or just do whatever you want to do. I think when the online game opens up, you're going to see a lot of that and a lot of inappropriate stuff.
It's really cool. Criterion has always been really savvy with that sort of like fun online aspect.
Yeah, another thing I liked was all the drive-throughs. You know, be it the gas to get boost, and then the auto repair to fix your car,
Also
and then there's also
paint jobs,
the paint jobs. But like, you have it built into the city, all different spots. When you discover them, they go on your map. And then like when you're driving, like, oh, here comes the auto repair, I'm gonna fix it, which is beautiful in events like
Yes.
and Road Rage, which are my 2 favorites.
Yeah.
Because Road Rage is the takedown. Just get as many takedowns as possible.
I think we might all agree those 2 are really fun.
Yeah.
And that's one of the problems with online. You can't race those events online. Yet.
Right. But I love Markman. It's like the spiritual successor to Pursuit Mode, where it used to be cops chasing you, but now like you start on one point of the city, it says, go here and just survive. Go anywhere you want, but it's like you have these guys in these black sedans,
and they're
like armor plated, like
so brutal.
The AI is so aggressive. I mean, I would say the most aggressive AI in any racing game I've ever faced in my entire life.
Yeah, even more so than the previous Burnouts.
I do have another minor criticism. For me, the crash mode has been replaced by this new thing. It's called
Showtime.
Showtime, and it's fun. You just kind of go into this mode where you're like flipping up and down, trying to crash into things. It's almost like a rhythm game. It's fun, but it isn't quite as fun as old-fashioned.
I do miss the preset like puzzly type of crash modes, but Showtime can be a lot of fun, and it works I think for the open environment because you can just kind of you can create that stunt situation anywhere on the map. And it's fun in areas with lots of cars, especially on the highways and the toll booths, because the cars are going really fast and there's a lot of them. There's like buses for multipliers.
Right, but every intersection has a target value though. Some of those intersections are really boring. You're like waiting for a truck to come by, maybe you'll crash into it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like there isn't so much strategy where you just hope that something comes by that's worth a lot of points, and like it seems almost random. Like how would you know if there's gonna be a truck like a block away that you're eventually gonna flip yourself all the way down there? You have no way of knowing. So it seems like a lot of luck is involved, and I kind of miss the old one in that sense.
Just like the races, I believe, are the best races any Burnout has ever had.
How so?
The aggressiveness.
They feel a lot the same to me.
I feel like it's more aggressive. It's more open-ended. There's more. When you get really good at the city, you can find those huge shortcuts that make it really easy.
Well, no. To me, it felt a lot like Crazy Taxi. How awesome a Crazy Taxi would be had they kept it going.
I can see that. There's a little bit of
there's
that.
There's a vibe. There's a definite vibe.
Well, part of that is all the product placement.
Well, yeah,
I find the pervasive CompUSA product placement very funny and ironic now that they've closed the entire CompUSA chain. Right?
That was on Partner Net.
You know what? Burnout Paradise is a good legacy for them. Like if you're gonna go out, you might as well go out in one of the greatest racers.
This is true.
It makes a lot of sense to do it that way.
What about the graphics? I mean, you guys completely happy with the visuals?
Yeah, it was tough at first because Burnout's always looked really, really good. So the initial, when I saw you guys playing it for the first time before I started it, I was like, oh, it looks like a really nice Burnout. But then you just realize how big it is and how there's no loading except for the initial load.
Excellent load times, and the sense of speed is flawless.
Yeah.
Especially in first person, which is how I play. It's among the fastest feeling games from the outset. Even like the standard car they give you feels really fast. And that's a problem with a lot of racers. You have to play for like 5 hours to get a car that feels fast.
And you still feel in control
Yeah.
while you're going that fast.
It's just always something to do, and just the variety. It's kind of like the Mario Galaxy of racing games.
Interesting.
It is like the one more star, because you're getting these points on your license to try to get the next license, and many times it's like 2 in the morning. I'm like, okay, one more, because it only takes like 5 minutes.
That's true.
Yeah, and when you get to those the higher licenses, that's when you have to play pretty much everything because they have so many requirements. You can't skip all the races, or you can't skip all the road rages. It's kind of the way I wanted to see Burnout come to like this generation of consoles. Like they really did what they had to. It's kind of like how Burnout 3 was, when that came out. That just blew me away. And this one is like it delivered everything I hoped for. Well, and I didn't even know I wanted.
It's also really encouraging to finally see a game that's equally good across the two platforms. We've seen a lot of disparity on 360 and PS3, and this one, no matter which you buy it on, it's a solid experience. Feature complete. I mean, no one's losing out here.
Agreed.
One man stands against the most advanced army on the planet and will master time to become the ultimate weapon. Time Shift. This October. Rated M for mature.
You see this? It's ridiculous. Yeah, so NPDs are out to... Oh, shit. Hey.
So I came by to show you this Pleo.
What's a Pleo?
It's imaginary friend that's real. You can pet him.
I have friends.
Yeah.
I don't like the way he's looking at me.
He's friendly. You can pet him. Okay, don't stab the Pleo, Skip.
Get it away.
All right.
Get it away.
They're like $300.
Get it. Whoa.
It's okay.
Get it away.
All right, Skip. He doesn't like to shove off.